Hello there, I am Syed from Uraken Karate International. As promised in my last video, I am back to teach you your first block, lower block of this 21 technique series that I will be showing you every day, one technique each day. So today we will cover lower block, also called as downward block or Gedan Barai. In my video today I am going to cover 8 different topics of lower block. I will try to keep it brief so that it doesn't sound boring to you. First of all, I will tell you the purpose of a block. Then I will discuss quickly what parts of your arm you use to do your 4 basic blocks that I am going to teach in this short series. And then about the arm rotation, the importance of rotating your arm while you are doing your block, and then the direction of power of your block, where the direction should go, what is the direction of your block and where you should direct your opponent's force towards, and then using sufficient force, and what are the different methods when I say use of sufficient force. I will discuss in detail. And the next is hip rotation. What's the function, what's the role of your hips when you are executing the block, and the importance of adapting to the speed of the attack and the timing. So these are some loosely defined areas that I am going to discuss during my talk today. So without getting into much detail, let me quickly show you a demonstration of how a lower block or a downward block or a Gedan Barai looks like. You will see me doing these blocks in 3 different stances. I will cover stances as a separate topic, so do not get into detail yet. Just try to copy what I am doing, and as I said, I will discuss about the stances in detail later in the later sessions of the same series. Hurry. This was my re before the class begins or before I do a technique. Now, lower block starts with, all your blocks involves both hands, and I'll show you the reason why. This is low block on normal stance. The best way to practice your low block or Gedan Barai is on horse stance, horse riding stance. And one more on Gedan Barai, now on Zenkutsu, which is your forward stance. So as said, the purpose of Gedan Barai is to block the lower part of your body. If someone is attacking with a punch or mainly with a kick, then you block his kick away from your body. So the target area for the attack is from anywhere from your belt level to lower to your groin, and the area that you use to block with is your arm part. And in Japanese, the arm is called wan. And there are 4 different areas. The area that follows your thumb side here is called Gaiwan, Naiwan, and the opposite side is called Gaiwan, and the front area is called Haiwan, and this is Shuwan. So do not get into detail. I'm trying to just emphasize the fact that this part, the one side, should be strong enough to take or absorb any blocks. So let you start teaching you. You can start copying me now. So 1, keep your right hand covering your groin and your left hand by your shoulder. Do not drop it here, lift it as high as you can. And then at a slow speed, keep moving your upper hand. Do not move your lower hand yet, because you don't want to move well in advance and give that a window to get hit. Therefore, keep the blocking hand, the other hand, there until you come about here. That's when you want to pull this hand back and the other one is coming here to complete your block. So the best way to do your blocks is with both hands. We have just done with your left hand. I mean, if you are just copying me as a mirror image. Now the other side is this. Once you complete your block, bring the other hand down here, covering your groin again. Do not keep it here, here, or too far, or don't even touch your belt or your groin. Just keep it here, about this distance away from your groin. While the other hand goes to your shoulder and your palm facing you, while it's in fist form. And then when you are doing your block, make sure it's turning. If you see, the fist was facing me, and by the time I completed my block, my fist is facing away. This is the best way to practice your block. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. As I said, the best demonstration of this block is done on Zenkutsu Dachi, forward stance, or even horse stance. So let's do the same block on horse stance. Slowly. 1, 2. The end is by your knee. Do not keep it too much out of your knee. So keep it close to your knee. And bring it. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. A few things to note here is number 1, in this particular part I am just trying to cover the arm rotation, how the arm rotation is important. So when you start your block from here, let me just use one hand so that I can explain you better and it's easier for you to understand. So if you just drop your hand naturally, you don't want your hand to come like this. If you drop your hand naturally, it will drop like this. That's the exact thing. Lift it high, facing your face, your palm facing your face, and then drop it slowly. Similarly, other hand, and then drop it slowly. So when you drop naturally, you won't bring this hand like this. The natural way of dropping your hand is like this. So that's what we are doing in low block. The other important thing is to not keep it too far from your body. If I change my direction, my angle, so you can see better, again just focusing on the rotation part and also the distancing from your body, is this is too far. I don't want to do this. I want my opponent to reach me, and as he reaches me, I just move his kick away. Be it open hand, be it fist hand. That's the way. Now the purpose of your other hand, it gives more power, more meaning to your block. Plus, the other hand can be used as a counter attack after you execute your block. As I said, the direction of power, that was arm rotation. Now we also need to focus on the direction of power in the block. So the main purpose of your block is to change the direction of the attack that your opponent is using, coming with. So you are not stopping a block, rather you are changing the direction of the force that is coming towards you to injure you, to hurt you. So instead of stopping that kick coming here, which doesn't make sense. What you are doing is you are letting it come, and as it comes in your zone, there is always a zone that you don't want anybody to come close to you in that zone. So as soon as he reaches within that zone, that's when you execute your block. So that's the main idea of the changing of direction of power of the block. Now you need to use sufficient force in your block. Now, having said, if you do not have enough force, enough power in your hands, then that doesn't help. Either your opponent will be able to reach you easily and get what he wants to do, which is hit you hard on the groin, or even if you try to do a little bit what you're doing, that won't be much of helpful, and you can actually damage your hand as well if it comes in the way of your opponent's kick. Therefore, it's important that you use sufficient force, and your sufficient force while you're using can itself become an attack for your opponent, and that discourages him to come for other attacks, for another attack, for example. So try to use it and assume it that there is something here that you are going to break with this part of your forearm, but with a correct rotation, hitting it hard. But remember, not going away, just keeping it close enough and using the other hand. Yep. The other option of doing Gedan block, if you really don't want to use 100% of your power, is to parry it. Parrying a kick is usually used if you want to retreat to a safe position to do any counter attack, or to take him down, for example. If you go for a full course, then you will understand what I mean by those things. But for the sake of your practice, I would suggest go for the full power or full force that you can demonstrate. That will be the best way to learn a block. But the force and the speed are not the primary stages to start learning with. When you're learning a new block, do not focus on the amount of force you're throwing and power in your punches. Just relax. Just do it slowly. Try to understand the mechanism of the block. Try to see where it starts, where it ends. Try to understand the rotational movement of your arm. And those sort of things are very important. Once you are comfortable with these basic techniques, then you can start going faster and stronger. Hip rotation is another important element of any block or any technique in karate. But in lower block, Gedan Barai, how it works, I'll explain to you. Look, this is something to do with, if you are a beginner and if you are struggling with the hip rotation, don't worry too much about it. If you are an intermediate student, or if you already know your lower block, and if you can understand what I'm trying to say, and if you can work on it, that's a good thing. It's a win-win situation. So for hip rotation, what I do is, when I am doing my lower block on the Kiba Dachi, for example, so instead of just doing this with no movement in my hips, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to rotate my hips in the opposite direction. If my block is going, I'm using my right hand to block, so my hips are rotating slightly to the left. And the reason of that hip rotation is to generate more power in my block. Plus, by doing that, I can prepare myself for a counter attack. So there are several benefits of using your hip rotations in your techniques. So this is how it looks like. So when I do it here, and then slightly here. It's very subtle. It doesn't have to be this. It's just a matter of you rotating your hips slightly, and that can probably be visible in your the way you are doing your Kiba Dachi, as for example. Adapting to the speed of the attack means, yes, the correct definition of block is that it starts from here and it gets the full rotation and speed everything. But in the situation, that your opponent is so close and you don't have the time to start your block from here. So don't worry about it. Just execute your block as fast and as practical as you think. The objective of the block is to make sure that you defend yourself using that technique. Not necessarily you check all the definition and the requirements of the block. So that's important. And the last thing is the timing. So for that, I'll take my student, black belt student, also my son, Sayyid Iswaruddin, for this demonstration. Hi guys, this is Sayyid Iswaruddin, black belt, Jodan, and also is my son. So you will see the demonstration of Gedan Barai in action. So we'll put it down. One count pitch. Okay. Lost cow. Let's slow it down. So what you have just seen is a Giri, a thrust kick that was coming to the groin level, and I was dropping my back foot and then using my front hand to block that kick. And of course, this is just the block, demonstration of block. As I have been telling you that once the block is complete, then there are a lot of ways to counter-attack and to get your opponent into submission mode. That we will cover later. So when I say the timing, let's talk quickly about timing. So just kick me here. One. So I don't want to delay my block after getting hit, right? Plus, kick again. Once again. So I don't want to block before he does his kick. So it's very important that you also try to understand the body language of your opponent. How fast he is coming, the distance between you and him, what are the chances of you missing that block or you getting him to do the block, and those sort of things. That comes with practice. But just to, as a final note, kick again, one, sorry, once again kick, just hold your kick there, kick. So what I want to do is, I want to get him here about his shin and use my forearm part and block, change the direction of kick coming towards me to away from me. That's the whole idea of your low block. So the conclusion, Gedan Barai, a downward block, is used to block the lower part of your body, and the parts used in your Gedan Barai is this, which is also called Gai 1 in Japanese. And it's very important to get your arms rotation, both arm rotations with your block at the correct time. And you want the impact, you want the impact at the rotation. So while you're rotating and just before your rotation completes, you must have the impact to change the direction of the attacker's kick. And then use of sufficient force, as I said, use it, make it hard so that your opponent gets discouraged to come for another attack. And if you really don't want to damage his leg or his hand by doing very strong attack, yes, there is a way that you can just parry and retreat to a safer distance and position, depending on what you want to do next with him. And hip rotation, if you can understand the concept of hip rotation, that's very good. If not, then take it easy. And adapting to the speed of the attack. So as I said, if the full definition is not meeting, if there is an option between compromising the complete definition of the block or you getting hit, then go for the full definition of your block. I mean, just do it the way you want. Just start from here, for example. And the last one is the timing. So do not block before you hit, or do not block too slow that you get hit after that. So these are some of the points I have tried to cover in my video. So please feel free to give me your feedback if you want to see some improvements in the next video. If you think I am too fast and too slow, please feel free to share your ideas in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe my channel. Tomorrow I will be uploading a new technique, lower block, Jodan. Okay. Thank you. Peace.